How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. Over on the stochastic for the Dixie, we are pushing forward. This is on the daily. RSI is pushing forward. VWAP is bullish. Money flow does want to push up. Momentum is gaining strength. So I would watch. If that VWAP can continue to push forward, we would see momentum continue higher and money flow could flip into the green. That would help continue this push forward. Remember, we are seeing a little bit inverse right now. It's been kind of fluctuating between inverse and correlated. The market's kind of acting goofy. So I would just watch. If we continue to push, we could see Bitcoin continue lower, but we are going to see no action over the weekend. So over on Bitcoin dominance, we do still have the possibility of breaking down. We did push forward, but now we're pulling back. So I would watch. If we lose this EMA level and then we break the blue one as well, it's likely we could push down and see our double top. However, if we get stopped and bounce off either of these EMAs, we could see dominance push up. Remember, that would mean Bitcoin dominance would do better than our altcoins. So that doesn't mean Bitcoin has to gain or lose. It just means it will perform better. Over on total for the daily, we are fluctuating around this EMA level. We did get about half of our breakdown. I will delete this at this point because we do keep seeing indecision candles, these doji candles, where you have wicks on both sides. So that shows that the market isn't really sure which way it wants to go right now. I would watch very closely because if we get a strong green candle, we could push up. We do need to hold above that 300 EMA in order to push altcoins up. Stochastic does want to push up. VWAP is gaining strength. Momentum is pushing up. Money flow is starting to pull back, so I would watch. If that VWAP rejects here, our momentum will break down and money flow could flip red. Over on our total for the 4 hour, we are trying to make a rounding bottom. Watch if we get a strong green candle after this. If we do and we break that blue EMA, we could make another attempt to retest that 300 EMA at that 587. So I would watch. If we break that and hold, we could see a continued push forward, and this could make a slightly higher low. And if we follow that with a higher high, then we could see a run forward. Money flow is bullish. VWAP does have a slightly higher high, so I would watch. If we continue to favor bullish and this wave is strong, then we could see momentum gain strength and money flow could continue higher and we would push forward. Over on the 2 hour, we have a bit of a descending channel. This descending channel, remember, would be a bullish pattern. So I would watch as we could break forward from this. That is positive. We did get a fake out breakout and then we broke back down. That could push us above our 300 EMA here on the 2 hour. And if we stay above that, that's where we could push our EMA on higher time frames. So Stochastic does want to push up. RSI is pushing forward. VWAP does have a higher high, so this does look good. Momentum is pushing up with a green dot. So far this does look decent. Over on the 1 hour, I would watch. Stochastic is running away. We don't have to sell off though. Sorry about that. Remember, it can fluctuate for a bit before you break down. You don't have to break down right when that stochastic runs away. It is a little bit of a laggy indicator. RSI wants to pull back. VWAP is bullish, so I would watch. It's a pretty decent wave. If we can get higher highs with higher lows here, momentum could break bullish, and that will continue to push money flow up. As that money flow solidifies this green cross, we can see higher time frames gain strength and a further push up, and that would push our altcoins further up as well. And if Bitcoin dominance is going to do better against altcoins, that could be good for our futures here. We'll have to see. So we did see a pretty significant push down as far as our pattern. We got most of our breakdown. I will delete this because we wicked to this 57K area twice, but we do still have a gap, so we will cover that on the 1 hour. Stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is pulling back. Momentum is breaking down. VWAP is favoring bearish and money flow is pulling back. Over on our 4 hour, we are overall rolling away with lower highs. I would watch for lower lows. If we see some lower lows, we could break down. But again, futures isn't going to trade over the weekend. VWAP is bearish. Momentum is breaking down. Money flow wants to sell off. So I would watch out. But most of the action is going to be on Bitcoin in the next 2 days. We do still have that gap at that like 57.4 area. So I would warn against filling that. But Bitcoin does not have that gap. So we could see Bitcoin push up, depending on how its lower time frames look. So our VWAP does want to push forward here on the 2 hour. Momentum is overall losing strength, but if that VWAP breaks forward, gets a higher high with higher lows, we could see momentum reverse and money flow would follow. Over on the 1 hour, money flow is bullish. That's positive. We need that to maintain. VWAP is bullish. We got consistent highs. They're not very strong highs, but they are consistent. So if we can get some higher lows followed by stronger highs, momentum will gain strength, money flow would push higher, and that would give us the chance to retest that 300 EMA right around that 64 and 60.4 that is. So if we do see that push forward, then we could retest that area. But if we do see that VWAP break bearish and hold and start to favor with consistent lows and lower highs, we will see momentum remain bearish and money flow would start to round away. So watch that VWAP very close over the next few hours. Over on Bitcoin, we did have a head and shoulders. Hopefully you're in the Discord, you have caught that. But we did wick down for most of our breakdown, so we will delete this bigger pattern here as well, that rising channel, as it's pretty much played out. Our stochastic is pulling back, RSI is starting to weaken, momentum is breaking down, VWAP does want to round away, money flow is pulling back. Overall, that daily is more bearish leaning. Over on the 4 hour, you see we had around a head. So these two peaks here are lower than this head. That creates a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. That's where that pattern is. That's where it gets its name from. So if I could click on it, I could delete it here. So we did see that pretty much break all the way down. That retested that 57K level. We didn't quite get the full breakdown. Remember, you don't want to aim for the full breakdown if you're going to DCA in that range. Our VWAP is seeing a lower low with lower highs, so I would watch. If that VWAP rejects this neutral, momentum would break down, money flow would round away, and we would start to see a sell-off and a potential break of that 57K. Over on our 2 hour here, we do have lower highs with lower lows, so we do have a bit of a bearish continuation. We could draw a descending channel though, so that descending channel would count that is a fake out breakout, and then we would have another retest, so we could attempt to push forward and break that 300 EMA. Our stochastic does want to push up. RSI is pretty flat, but if that stochastic continues up, RSI could continue to push us up. If we do not break out of this pattern on the next touch to the top, then we could end up rejecting and breaking down. Remember, that third touch is the critical touch. Momentum does want to push up. VWAP is bullish. Money flow is pushing forward, so we do look decent. We don't have bullish confirmation though. Over on the 1 hour, we do want to see EMA cross to the bullish side. That is positive, so we need a strong green candle next in order to see that. Stochastic is pushing up, RSI is flat, VWAP is bullish, momentum does want to cross bullish, so that is positive. If that VWAP stays bullish and momentum makes that cross, money flow would remain bullish, pushing higher time frames up and giving us that potential for our run up. So again, watch that resistance area very close. Over on graph for the daily, we did retest our 14,316. We did try to break it, but we have a long lower shadow candle. Remember, that shows that sellers tried to break us down, but buyers stepped in and pushed us up. Momentum is breaking down, stochastic's weakening, RSI is pushing down, VWAP is bearish, money flow is pulling back. So overall, I would exercise caution here. Over on this 4 hour, we don't quite have a descending channel here because the highs and lows do not connect quite as well. So I would watch. This could end up breaking us down. This could be a fake out breakdown, but I would warn against a bearish continuation here that could break us lower. So if we retest this 14,316 and we look a little more on the bearish side, we could end up breaking it. But if we do have a little bit of bullish bias, then we could push up and bounce. VWAP is bullish, momentum does want to push up, money flow is pushing up, stochastic is gaining strength, RSI is pushing forward, so we do look decent. Over on the 2 hour, we did make a decent retest of that resistance area. Again, just watch. If we lose these EMAs, we could make lower highs with lower lows. Stochastic does want round. RSI is starting to curl, so I would watch that stochastic close. VWAP does have a higher high with a higher low, so I would watch that as positive. That can help gain momentum strength. So if that VWAP continues to push up, momentum could gain further strength. Money flow could push forward, and we could see a bullish break forward. But again, I would watch very close for that. Over on the 1 hour here, we are retesting that yellow EMA, so I would watch. If we can break it, that would be positive, as we did struggle with it the last time we tested it. So I would watch this as a pretty critical retest as of recent price action history. Stochastic does want to round away, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is starting to weaken, momentum is breaking bullish, so if that VWAP gets higher highs and higher lows from here, we could see momentum continue forward, money flow would continue to gain strength, and we could strengthen those higher time frames and push forward. Over on Ankr for the daily, we did have a long lower shadow here as well, so that is positive. We did not break that value area low on our fixed range volume profile. Stochastic is breaking down, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, bringing momentum lower and causing money flow to sell off, so watch lower time frames very close here. Over on the 4-hour, we don't quite have a descending channel, so again, watch for a bearish continuation. Stochastic does want to break down, RSI is starting to curl, our VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum does want to push down, and our money flow is nowhere to be found, so watch that VWAP very close. If we see another quick rejection here, we could see momentum break down again, and money flow would flip into the red, and we would see further sell-off. Over on the 2-hour, we did fill a gap to the upside that we created, but in doing so, we created a gap to the downside, so watch for that. We could reject, fill that lower gap, and then try to push up to fill our higher gap. At least that's a more ideal situation. We also have another higher gap here at that 25.66, so I would watch. We have that 25.66 or 24.90, and then around 24.30. So Stochastic does want to push up. VWAP is seeing higher highs, momentum is gaining strength, money flow is pushing up. That overall does look positive. Over on the 1-hour, we are trying to run up. We are above that yellow EMA that we struggled with, but we do have a gap below, so again, watch that close. VWAP is bullish, momentum wants to push up. Money flow is remaining bullish, so this does look decent. Again, I would warn against a run up from here because we do have a gap below, so if we do see a run up from here, we could end up seeing a rejection. So that's the only reason I say seeing a gap fill to the downside before your upside gap fill is more the ideal situation. So over on XRP for the daily, we have a long lower shadow here as well that could push us forward if followed by a strong green candle. Momentum is breaking down though, VWAP does want to push up, money flow is bullish, Stochastic's breaking down, and RSI is losing strength. Over on the 4-hour, we did push around that 54 support area, so hopefully you had some orders in place. But now we're retesting our 300 EMA, so if you did take a short trade position, this may be an area where you may take some profits or your initial out. Not financial advice, that's just one way to trade. Stochastic does want to push up, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is seeing a higher high with a higher low, so if that maintains, momentum will push up with the screen dot, and our money flow will cross bullish, and that would give us a chance to break that 57 cents. Stochastic does want to curl here on the 2-hour, so I would watch. RSI is turned around as well. VWAP has higher highs and higher lows. Momentum is pushing up, and money flow did cross bullish. So as long as that VWAP can continue bullish, we could push forward. But if we zoom in here, we do have a slight gap that may be on the 1-hour. So the 1-hour does not have that gap, so we may not drop down. I would just watch. That could be a very micro gap. Stochastic does want to round away, RSI is starting to pull back, VWAP is pulling back, momentum is breaking up, so if that VWAP stays with higher highs and higher lows, momentum will remain bullish, money flow will cross bullish, and we could push up. However, if that VWAP breaks our neutral and holds, then we will see momentum and money flow fall. That will result in a break of our 54 most likely. Finally on ALGO for the daily, since there's no requests, we do have the same long lower shadow candle. Stochastic is breaking down, RSI is pulling back, momentum is breaking down, VWAP is breaking down, money flow is bearish, so again watch lower time frames. Over on the 4-hour, we are retesting our EMA band, so we want to break back into our band and hold if we're going to get a strong bounce forward. Stochastic and RSI want to push up, VWAP is trying to cross bullish, momentum is pushing with a green dot. If that VWAP can stay bullish, momentum will bring money flow higher, and we could push forward, but again watch lower time frames. We need to break our lower time frames like the 2-hour black EMA here. If we do not break that resistance area, then we could end up breaking down with a lower high and lower lows. Stochastic does want to push up, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is bullish, momentum is pushing up, and money flow does want to gain strength. So as long as that VWAP does continue with higher highs and higher lows, we could try to push forward here on lower time frames and strengthen higher time frames. Over on the 1-hour, Stochastic is pushing up, VWAP is staying bullish, so again we want higher highs and higher lows. Momentum is breaking bullish, money flow cross bullish, so if that VWAP stays more toward bullish leaning, we could continue forward here and strengthen those higher time frames and see a push up toward that 1350 again, providing we can hold those 300 EMAs. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great